Hey everyone, my name is Solomon, better known as PCG here on YouTube, and today we're playing Elden Ring, one of the most incredible games ever created in my opinion. I've clocked about 340 hours in this game so far, and I'm stoked to take you along with me on this new journey. What we're going to be doing in this playthrough is obtaining every single trophy, all 42 of them, and exploring every inch of the map in this massive open world. So all trophies and 100% completion is what we're aiming for. And of course, in order to get all trophies, there are 3 different endings we'll need to achieve, but there's actually a total of 6 endings, so our goal is to eventually see all of them. And by the time we wrap up this playthrough, the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC will have already been out for a bit, so then we'll be jumping into exploring everything that DLC has to offer as well. Just so you know, a new episode of this series will be released every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Time until we've conquered all of these goals that I've already mentioned. And it's going to be a super fun series, a lengthy series as well, because this game is massive. So I hope you'll come along with me on this journey, and if you do enjoy this opening episode, please interact with this video in some way by leaving a like, maybe a comment, and hitting subscribe. You interacting with and supporting these videos helps me out immensely because that's how these videos get supported by the YouTube algorithm. Let's work to get as many people in on this journey with us as possible because life is hard and sometimes we need a bit of an escape from reality. So let's forget about our troubles for a bit each day and just enjoy this journey. All that said, thank you so much for being here with me to kick things off. It truly means a lot. And now, without further ado, let's jump in to Elden Ring.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask, Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh, I freaking love this game.
And one other, whom grace would again bless.
That's me. That's me, that's me, that's me.
A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Man, there's so few games that I play where I'm just sucked in all the way through. And like I said, I've pretty much got about 340 hours in this game at this point. And I've loved every second of it. It's been awesome, and I'm so excited to start again. Though the path be broken and uncertain, claim your place as Elden Lord. So you saw during the intro, I showed clips of character creation. So just so you kind of see what I got here. So, oh wait, why did that not? Let me remove that. Okay, so this, oh, it's hard to see because it's dark, but this is who I'm playing as. So I wrote her name down so that I make sure that I don't forget, because I'm essentially, in my head, I've been sort of creating lore behind who I am through this playthrough. So this time around, I am Zaloran Estasia, from the land of Garum, and here and there, I'll kind of drop little tidbits about other pieces of lore that I've created in my head about Zaloran. But you saw I picked warrior as my starting class. The reason being that I want to go with a dex build this time around. So so warrior has, I think, the highest, if not close to the highest dex out of all of the starting characters. So I went with warrior. And one of the things, usually when I play FromSoft games, I will, at least on my first playthrough, go for more of a knight type build where I'm just essentially a brute, and I usually try to tank everything. That's how I've mostly played FromSoft games. But to make it interesting this time around, I decided I'd go dex, and also, because I've already played the game extensively, just to make it a little more interesting and a little more challenging, my plan is to not use shields at all in this playthrough. And the interesting thing about Elden Ring is I feel like not using a shield is not really an issue like it is in Dark Souls. I feel like in Dark Souls, it's a lot harder to avoid using shields. Obviously, Bloodborne shields weren't really a thing at all. I mean, you could get like the wooden shield, but other than that, so goal is to not use shields. Oh my gosh, this is gonna suck. Ugh. So obviously, just like most FromSoft games, you're expected to die at this first fight pretty quickly. It's kind of FromSoft's MO. Those things, though, those grafted scions, you encounter those sometimes, and they just, oh my gosh, they suck. They're so annoying to fight. And here's one of my things, too, that I'm going to try to do with this playthrough is I know that maybe there's some people watching that maybe you've never played through the game before. Maybe you're planning to, or you're watching along as you play. My goal is to not spoil anything as we play, but obviously be warned that it'll be easy for me to slip up since I've seen all of it already. I've really only seen one out of the 6 endings, though.
Fortune is on her side.
Fortune.
We found her here after all. One of her kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
Man, and just the voice acting in these games is phenomenal. It has been in most FromSoft games, but this one especially, there's just something special about the voice acting. And I mean, in that opening cutscene, the emotion behind that dude's voice is just wild. It's so well done. Yeah, but I've only seen 1 out of the 6 endings, and so that's another reason why I wanted to do a playthrough like this. All right, so we're gonna get rid of that shield because I'm not gonna be using that. Also, I did, as my keepsake, my starting keepsake, I grabbed a golden seed so that I can increase my flasks right off the bat. And again, I'm gonna be just like going through like every inch of this map as best as I can, and we're gonna explore this game super in depth together. The cave of knowledge lies below. Jump down the hole ahead. All right, I'm kind of skipping a lot of that stuff. I've already done that stuff before, and of course isn't really necessary. Brave Tarnished, take the plunge of learning and remembrance. Recall the arts of war and your warrior's blood. Alright, I'm gonna hop down here. So, at one point I briefly started a second playthrough where I was utilizing more of a dex build like this, and I played like 40 hours within that build, and I really enjoy it. Like I feel like this game has a really good balance between the sort of more hide behind a shield feel, like I said, of Dark Souls, versus the more in-your-face feel of Bloodborne. I feel like it has a really good balance in this game and gives you the freedom to kind of do either one. And so I think playing Dex and trying to be more of a fast-moving, going with a more fast-moving and quick play style works well for this game. There's nothing wrong with it in Dark Souls. I mean, I love Dark Souls, but there is... Yeah, it definitely overall, those games... Did he fall? He did fall. Those games are definitely overall more designed to where you feel almost heavier as you play. Whereas this, you feel a lot less clunky, which is cool. All right. Oh yeah, so I will... So here's the nice thing about having the two swords like this, is the fact that I can utilize both, but I obviously get more strength when I'm two-handing. Man, I hate these guys with the tower shields. It's so annoying. Come on. There we go. Alright. Them hiding behind those things drives me nuts. So obviously, it's just kind of the tutorial area, but I want to be going through... I'm not kidding when I say that I want to go through everything. And obviously, I'll always be recording these a little bit ahead of when you see them. But if you happen to see something where you go, hey, you missed this, and... Obviously, sure, there'll be times I'll probably purposely skip over stuff with the purpose of kind of coming back, and it's obviously open world, so there's not really a right or wrong way to approach things. But if you happen to see something, you're like, hey, you totally skipped over this, let me know. Because, again, we're on this journey together, so I'm going to... I always try to jump through there. Yeah, we're on this journey together. So if you notice things where you're like, you should go back and do this, or you notice something that I'm just completely clueless about and I don't understand how to do, tell me. And we'll make it happen. We got a stake of a Madagach. And here we go. Soldier of Goldrick. Boss 1. So obviously, since I'm not using shields, I think you can kind of do... I don't know... I've never been real great at counters in these games. So I don't know exactly what kind of... Like, if you can do many counters with just a weapon. I feel like not super well. So basically what I'm getting at is, since I'm not using shields, counters will... largely be out of the question. But we made quick work of that guy. The tutorial boss. All right, cool. So I think we got everything we need here. Sweet. All right, let's head on in. I love this like starting armor with the warrior. I think it's such a cool armor set. And we won't head in here yet. I obviously don't have a stone sword key right now. I could have had that as my starting gift, but I decided not to. So I'll eventually go in there once I get a stone sword key. Another thing is, obviously, all the multiplayer items are going to be obsolete for me, because one of the ways that I like to play these games is I prefer to play them offline, because of the fact that obviously it's a super cool mechanic in FromSoft that, like, you can invade, and that you see blood stains of other players and you see messages. But I love to play these games where, even if I've played it before, I obviously will forget countless things. The games are massive, so because of that, I like to make it where I don't see the blood stains, I don't see messages from other players, because then it adds to that mystery for me as I'm playing. Even if I've seen it all already, it adds to the mystery, which I like, and makes it where it's, if there's something I forgot, it's not going to be spoiled by a message.
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless.
Sure am.
Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity.
Depressing.
Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me. Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace. A path that a tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you, tarnished, to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave.
I feel like he's kind of like a walking infection with all the blood on him.
Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly. To Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted. It's time you set off, I should think, to Castle Stormvale on the cliff, where Grace would guide you, if you seek the Elden Ring, maidenless as you are.
I think that's... Yeah, alright, so we've exhausted his dialogue. It's important, obviously, for some of the quest lines to be sure I'm exhausting the dialogue of NPCs like him. Let's grab this. Summoning pools. Again, something that's not going to be really useful for me playing offline. Alright, so this real first boss here, this tree sentinel, I'm going to avoid him for a bit. He's a little annoying. So in my first playthrough, like when the game first came out, man, this game is just so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. When the game first came out and I was doing my first playthrough, it's actually insane how long it took me to beat the tree sentinel. Because I always notice when I play a new FromSoft game for the first time, it's like such a... It's such a learning curve at first, it feels like. But almost partially, it almost seems like sometimes it's easier to just jump into one of the games if you haven't played another FromSoft game before. Because it's almost like you get so used to the way that one is designed that you kind of then have to change your playstyle around for a new one. Alright, so let's rest here. And I've got this. I'll go ahead and add the charge of the flask since I got that golden seed. And then, let's see. I guess we'll do... I don't really have anything that I'm going to need FP for right now, so I'm just going to go 4 and 1, I think, for the time being. I'd rather have the healing. Right, let's grab this. Smithing Stone 1.
You're tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kalé, purveyor of fine goods.
Kalé.
I am of a nomadic people, selling wares as I travel. The land has been tainted by madness since the shattering of the Elden Ring. It's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer. You know, if you can spare the rooms, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really, if you intend to survive out here for any duration. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. Every customer counts, after all. You know, if you can spend, you should buy us a crafting essential,
Okay.
really. The kit costs, but the important
So, that should exhaust everything from him. Alright, so I can afford the crafting kit right now. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy the torch also. And then, little by little, I'll kind of come back and get these cookbooks. I want to collect all the cookbooks and stuff too. And then... the notes, I'm not super concerned about the notes.
You've made an excellent
not super concerned about the notes because of the fact that they're kind of just hints of stuff that I already know where to find those things. So let's rest here one more time real fast. All right, and then what I'm gonna do is I think let's actually just travel right over here real fast, and I'm gonna go backwards a little bit first, down towards the Weeping Peninsula, and get the site of grace that's over there. Kind of fight my way through that, and then I'll head back to the church, and hopefully be able to talk to Melina and pick up Torrent, so we can get around a little faster. Let's also see. I don't remember if there's any items tucked back here. And see again, the beauty of how massive this game is of course one thing that makes replayability in a game is just like different endings and things like that. But this game has such a wide variety of ways that you can approach the game, and because it's so massive, like there's so much I don't even remember after doing my first playthrough, because it's been a while since I did it, and I put the game down for a while and then recently went back and actually finished it off and made it to the end after not playing for a while. And then a few days ago I picked it up again, and I kind of played through some of Limgrave again. But other than some of the stuff within Limgrave, there's so much that I just don't even remember. So I'm gonna kind of be walking around areas as if I don't know what's there, because that's the truth. I don't remember what's there in a lot of these areas. Man, these guys are so annoying sometimes. How in the world? I'll take it, but how? There's no way I hit him. That was pretty cheaty. It's like I had a pole arm or something. Alright, let me take out this last one. Don't you do it. Whew. Man, okay, so I genuinely feel that one of the most annoying things in this game is the dragonflies. Like, the fact that they just... Like, if I had throwing knives, it'd be relatively easy to kill it. But the fact that they just sort of fly in circles around you and it's near impossible... Alright. Just gonna leave him alone. Not important to me. Is he... Are you... Alright. You've gotta be... Like I said, super annoying. Alright, I think that... Oh yeah, we got an item here. Smithing stone, very nice. Very nice! Let's grab that. Some raw fruit. So here, just these the glowing skulls with runes in them. Initially, when I played through the game, those were not scattered around the landscape. There were, of course, like golden runes, and there were things like that, but there weren't a bunch of glowing skulls, and it's kind of nice. I like that those are there now, because it just gives you that extra edge for leveling up. And I don't know what exactly the intention of it being there is, but I would assume that it's maybe to help avoid certain aspects of the need for grinding. Because obviously, typically in a FromSoft game, you're looking at end game being around like level 80 or 90. I think is kind of where you're usually at. Whereas this one, end game, you're really at least like level 120. I finished my first playthrough at I think like 180. And that'll kind of probably be the case with this one too, because of the fact that we're gonna go so in depth with exploring. So I'm gonna be just picking up runes left and right, and probably at times even going back through an area I've already been through just to catch extra stuff. I tend to do that a lot, is go back through an area, so bear with me as I do that. Sometimes just for the sake of getting the extra runes, but then also sometimes for the sake of just kind of triple checking I didn't miss anything. And I think one of the mistakes I made in my first playthrough though was that, oh, I gotta go in room 2. One of the mistakes I made in my first playthrough was I actually, for a first playthrough, went probably a little too thorough. I don't really know if there's any such thing necessarily, but I felt like I went too thorough because what I was doing is I would, like, even in an area like this, I'd like check behind this pillar, and I'll do that this time around, but it won't be like almost obsessive like I did the first time around, because it was like a 300-hour playthrough because I went like so detailed with everything. Oh, okay, wait, here's Melina.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord. Have you
I accept.
heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the Two Fingers, offering guidance and aid to the Tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree.
Yeah, yes please.
Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring. Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
Torrent is one of the coolest things about this game. I don't think I have, well, let's just see. I don't think I have enough runes right now.
Let my hand rest upon you. For but a moment, share them with me.
Yeah, I don't have enough.
Your thoughts.
Okay. So go ahead and leave here, and let me get Torrent equipped. So I'm gonna remove the Memory of Grace. I'm not gonna use that. Alright, so we'll put Torrent on there. I don't really have anything else to put in my pouch right now. Equipment-wise. You know, I probably... Well, you know what? Let's explore a little bit before I actually utilize those. Before I use the stuff that I picked up. Because I should get enough for a level just from exploring. And then also, actually, let's do this real fast. Let's go back to the church quickly. I think that Ronnie should... Yeah, here she is.
Tarnished. May I have a word? A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. I am the Witch Renna. I'd heard tell of a tarnished hurtling about atop a spectral steed, and upon looking into the matter, the talk I surmise is of thee. Thou art possessed of the power, no? To call forth a spectral steed named Torrent.
It's funny, since I haven't even called him yet. I haven't even used him.
As I had hoped, I was entrusted this for thee by Torrent's former master.
Thank you very much.
'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits. Summon them with it. From ash and return to the Erdtree, the spirits will obey thine command but briefly, as they recall battles past. Now it is thine, to do with as thou wishest.
Alright, sweet.
Forgive mine intrusion, Tarnished. I doubt we shall again meet. But all the same, learn well the lands between. How long will it be, I wonder, before the Tarnished tire of obeisance to the two fingers?
Alright, sweet. So, let me get, I guess for now we'll go ahead and assign the Lone Wolf Ashes in my pouch. Was there anything else I should grab from him right now?
Weren't you? Well, you're back. Care to buy something?
I don't know if there's anything that I really want from him. Oh, he's got more dialogue.
There are others of my people who yet survive in these lands. If the mood takes you when you meet one, then offer them some trade, won't you? My people, wanderers all have long been spurned by the grace of gold, which is why we cannot settle, but instead are forced into this pitiful, unceasing journey. But thanks to that, things are not so different for us now, though the Elden Ring is shattered. I think this makes us kindred spirits of sorts. Your people, the Tarnished, and mine. Perhaps you don't need to hear this, but see that no harm comes to my kin. We have a saying, we wanderers, lament not your solitude. Expect no sympathy, no regard, nothing. But if anyone dares harm us, show them no mercy. That is our code, so to speak. Just the way we are, deeply unforgiving.
Alright, so I got 570 right now. I'll eventually probably want to get these cracked pots. I do want to get his telescope. I will want throwing daggers, but I guess maybe I should come back for the cookbooks. Because you're going to get bone arrow. Yeah, I don't think there's anything directly in there right now that I want. So instead, honestly, I'm just going to grab
Goodbye.
the throwing knives. Alright, so let's equip that. And let's get to exploring. So I think probably what's best to do here is alright, quickly let's go back up here to where White Mask was at. And yeah, so I think we'll head in this direction first. Even though I've gone back that way, grabbed the Seaside Ruins Site of Grace, we'll head off in this direction, and actually it might be best for me to work my way over to where the first map piece is. So I think that's what we'll do, is we'll kind of explore everything in that sort of diagonal direction to begin with, and go grab that map piece. So I think this is gonna wrap episode 1. Kind of got things kicked off here, and I don't want to go crazy long on any particular episode. So once again, thank you so much for joining me as we start off this adventure. Again, if you enjoyed this, please be sure to interact with this video in some way by leaving a like, a comment, and subscribing. I really, really would appreciate it. And I will see you guys again tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.